Fancy food is wasted on you. It seems that even her own 60th birthday celebration was a prime opportunity for Lisa, my mother-in-law, to bully me. Amidst the array of high-end dishes, only my plate setting had a mountain of cheap candies. If you have a complaint, you can leave. Sam, my husband, siding with his mother, chuckled. I'm leaving, as you wish. I turned my back on Sam and swiftly left my in-laws' house. Then, with a changed expression, Lisa chased me to the bus stop. I was wrong. Please help me. My flustered mother-in-law clung me, begging for help. It was strange, considering she had just driven me away. The reason why she came after me is... My name is Rachel James, 30 years old, and I live with my husband Sam. I work for a well-known company and I find my job fulfilling. Sam and I work for the same company. We started as a new hires together after graduating college, became close, started dating, and eventually got married within the company. Since I sometimes get home later due to overtime, Sam and I share household chores. We've been married for 2 years and don't have children yet, but I'm satisfied with our peaceful life together. However, Lisa frequently calls to pressure us about having a grandchild, and her nagging is increasingly day by day. One evening, Lisa called again. When are you going to let me see a grandchild that looks just like Sam? My heart ached at her usual starting phrase. Besides, even if we had a child, there's no guarantee it will look like Sam. What if, by some chance, a child was born resembling me, the daughter-in-law she dislikes? Would she say she didn't need to see a grandchild she deemed unattractive? We want children too, but more than that, we believe it's important to care for each other. Sam never blames me and tells me not to rush. I decided to speak clearly instead of giving my usual vague response. But you're above 30 now. Sam aside, you should be rushing, Rachel. Lisa had her first child at 25. That was Sam's older sister, Ashley, who is 4 years older than him. By the time Lisa was my age, she had already given birth to her second child, Sam. That's probably why she emphasizes age so much. Unlike when Lisa was raising children, it's not uncommon for women to have children in their 40s nowadays. I just turned 30, and my gynecological checkups show no issues. I don't feel any need to rush, so it's really none of her business. You're 30 and haven't even experienced pregnancy once? This is why I didn't want a highly educated, career-oriented woman as a daughter-in-law. She made a snide remark, followed by a dramatic sigh. My father-in-law passed away 4 years ago, so Lisa currently lives alone. Perhaps she calls me around the time I get off work because she's bored with no one to talk to at home. Sam and I were both hired around the same time during our job hunt and started our careers together, but we went to different universities. My university had a higher academic standing. Lisa was fixated on educational background, even asking me about my university when we first visited to announce our engagement. When she found out that I had a higher academic pedigree than her precious son, she became visibly displeased. I still remember it clearly. I'm the one who should be sighing about such a trivial thing that happened so long ago. But I held back my protest, choosing instead to respond calmly. Thank you for your concern, Lisa, but I'm prioritizing our family over my work. We're definitely thinking about having a baby. To end the conversation, I gave her a response I thought she'd find acceptable. I managed to stay calm over the phone since we can't see each other's faces. But whenever I visit my in-laws, I feel suffocated by her constant nagging. Oh, is that right? Well, that's good. By the way, you haven't forgotten about my 60th birthday party, have you? We need to prepare. Can you come over this weekend? Although we don't live together, Lisa, who adores her son, frequently summons us to her house. It would be fine if Sam went alone, but I'm always required to accompany him. I know she really wants to see Sam, so why am I always included? It's because she wants to use me as a convenient helper, like a maid. It's incredibly frustrating to be forced to clean her messy house and prepare large amounts of food every time. She uses me and then she and Sam go out shopping or to a cafe. And when they return, she complains about the tidied room. I leave things I use often within easy reach, but Rachel puts everything away. Even when his mother complains, Sam never says anything. Maybe he doesn't pay attention because it's not directed at him, or maybe he doesn't even realize it's nagging. Sam can be insensitive to other people's feelings. Since he was spoiled by his mother, he may have grown up taking it for granted that he will be taken care of. At first, he didn't help with chores, despite us both working. But that made our life impossible, so over the past 2 years, we had many discussions. Slowly, he learned to do some chores. It took him a year to become somewhat competent. He still tends to slack up on his assigned chores. It's not a 50-50 split. and I do much more, including the less visible tasks. But Sam had this unconscious bias that housework is a woman's job. Yet, through our married life, he's gradually changing. I'm patiently waiting, hoping he will eventually become more proactive in helping out. Also, it's been 4 years since my father-in-law passed away. It takes time to accept the absence of a long-time family member. I understand that Sam wants to cherish his remaining parents and might be a bit lenient with her. That's why I haven't complained to Sam about Lisa's treatment of me. Okay, I'll check with Sam about his schedule. But before I could finish, Lisa interjected loudly. There's no need to ask. This is already decided. We can't prepare for the party without you two. At the end of the month, a party was planned at my in-laws' house to celebrate Lisa's 60th birthday. Beside us, Ashley's family and Lisa's siblings were invited. Usually, a 60th birthday is organized by those around the person turning 60 who want to celebrate. But in this case, before Ashley or I could suggest anything, Lisa declared she was hosting and started planning herself. I don't want any of that granny stuff, you know? It's just so old-fashioned. Don't even think about it. It was clear she wanted a grand celebration but didn't want any age-related gifts. I'll just be happy that everyone is gathering for me. If only those words were genuine. Lisa, a self-proclaimed clutter queen, probably wants the entryway and house cleaned up before the party. She has no intention of doing it herself and is just planning to make me do it. On the day I was summoned to my in-laws, after completing the chores, I was about to leave. Rachel, before you go, I wanted to talk to you. I thought it would be the hassle to choose a present, so I have a request. I want a new purse and a watch. Ashley said she'd get the purse. She looked at me with puppy dog eyes. It was an indirect but obvious request of a gift. In my family, it was unheard of to request specific gifts. I was shocked when she first did it. If the goal was to save the gift giver time, one would normally suggest something affordable. But my Brazilian mother-in-law doesn't operate that way. In these situations, she always asks for something more expensive than expected. We try to minimize unnecessary expenses to save for our family's future, but I knew from past experiences that refusing her will only create more trouble. I understand. Could you tell me which watch you like? Which one you're considering? I gave out and decided to fulfill her request. This one. Lisa handed me a product catalog, as if she had meticulously prepared for this moment. It's words that she asked me, and not her son Sam, especially when he's not around. Sam, Lisa is asking for an expensive watch. On our way home from my in-laws' place, I brought it up with Sam in the car. Oh, really? Then just use your personal savings, Rachel. You've been taken care of by Mom too, right? Let's celebrate her 60th birthday in the big way. Sam said it like it was someone else's problem. I was taken aback. Sure, he's indifferent to his mother using me, but he's usually sensitive about money matters. Until now, we always use our joint account for gifts to his mother, as if it were an outspoken rule. Why should I, who constantly deals with his mother and previous labor, also bear the financial burden? I didn't like it, but Sam's tone had a chilling undertone that prevented me from arguing further. On the day of the 60th birthday party, I arrived at my in-laws' house with a heavy heart. Lisa likes to have guests over and often throws parties for New Year's and Open. I'm usually summoned early in the morning to prepare the food, but this time I wasn't asked to come early. Maybe she exempted me from helping out, considering I was getting her an expensive gift. In addition to the gift, I brought a carefully chosen housewarming gift to avoid further criticism. I rang the intercom. Hello, we're here. Sam might feel like he's coming home, but even after 2 years, I still feel like an outsider. Oh, Sam, welcome. Rachel, you're here too. Her voice, as always, had a faint trace of annoyance. When I entered the living room, in addition to the usual low table, there was a foldable table that I had painstakingly pulled out of storage the other day. Ashley and her children, May and Lily, were already seated there. It seemed that Ashley's husband, Jake, was absent today. Jake's father owns a small equipment company with less than 10 employees. Jake joined the company after high school and works in plumbing. He's planning to take over the company from his father soon. Jake's family home is near the company's office, but they rebuilt it into a two-family house after he married Ashley. Jake's parents and Ashley's family get along very well. As someone who experienced in-law bullying, I'm incredibly envious. Oh, Rachel, it's been a while. My sister-in-law Ashley noticed me and turned around, looking strangely uncomfortable. Lisa's sibling was supposed to be invited, but they haven't arrived yet. I didn't notice the food and dishes on the table when I first entered, but when I looked at the table, an unbelievable sight spread before my eyes. Lisa, who isn't a great cook, seemed to have ordered from a catering service. There were fancy dishes that were clearly made by professionals, but in front of my seat, there was a pile of cheap snacks. How could I tell I was the target of this prank? When we first got married, Sam prepared matching sandwiches and different colored forks and spoons for our visit to his parents' house. We've used them ever since, so I knew that the plate setting with those dishes was mine. Maybe Mom accidentally put out the snacks she bought for Lily on your plate? Ashley tried to lighten the mood, noticing my distress. Ashley, don't be silly. I'm not senile yet. I put those out for Rachel. Fancy food is wasted on her, you know? Lisa said this with a nasty smirk. I was so shocked that I couldn't speak, and tears welled up in my eyes. Mom, that's a bit much. Ashley looked worried and tried to intervene. Oh, what? I don't think I said anything strange. Lisa was unfazed. I took a deep breath. I've endured countless instances of her mistreatment, but I never expected this at her own party. I realized too late that the reason I wasn't called to help with preparation earlier, unlike usual, was because of this prank. The tears that threatened to spill receded. I was so dumbfounded by her dedication to bullying me that the sadness faded away. You're saying plenty of strange things and doing abnormal things too. Ashley was angry on my behalf as I remained silent. But my husband, Sam, didn't say anything, even chuckling at the situation. If you have a complaint, you can leave. Sam's decision to side with his mother instead of me was the final straw. The unease I had been feeling the past few days solidified into a clear understanding at that moment. I had tried to talk to Sam about the expensive watch before buying it, but he had evaded the conversation. I ended up paying for it out of my own savings. I wasn't happy about it. Just a few weeks ago, I thought our marriage was going well, apart from his mother's harassment. What on earth had happened in Sam's mind during this short time? Then I turned to Lisa. I apologize, but I'm not feeling well, so I'll be leaving. I stated this calmly, maintaining a straight posture. I decided not to hand over the gift bag and the present box, and to take them back with me. I'm leaving, as you wish. I turned to Sam and said this, then quickly headed for the entrance. I bumped into Lisa's sister and brother, Sam's aunt and uncle, who had just arrived. We exchanged brief greetings. They were puzzled to see me putting on my shoes at the entrance. I overheard them wondering if I was going out to buy something that was missing as I left the house. I usually come here by Sam's car, so I only vaguely remember the surroundings. I relied on my memory, thinking there was a bus stop somewhere around here, and headed toward the nearest one. When I checked the timetable, it seemed like there wouldn't be a bus for a while. I took out my phone and considered calling a taxi, but I hesitated, thinking about the pointless purchase of an expensive watch and our future living expenses. My relationship with Sam was about to change drastically from today. I had tried to be considerate of Sam and hadn't complained about the issue with his mother. But with my husband now siding with her, I no longer had a reason to endure the in-law relationship. I sat on a worn-out bench, trying to hold back the tears that threatened to fall again. Was I sighing because of the infrequent bus schedule, or because of my disappointment in Sam? I put my hand to my chest to think. The wine on my cheek felt colder than usual. I was standing on the ground, lost in thought, for about 15 minutes. Hey, wait a minute! I heard a frantic voice from behind. When I turned around, I saw Lisa chasing after me. I was wrong. Please, help me. She was out of breath and looked pale, standing in front of the bench where I was sitting. I was puzzled, wondering what she meant by help, but I had no energy to talk, so I ignored her. I regretted not calling a taxi, trying to save a few hundred yen by waiting for the bus. My sister and brother aren't angry, and for some reason, they're blaming me. Please come back and explain for me. I could imagine that my aunt and uncle, who arrived just as I was leaving, had learned the situation and scolded Lisa. Ashley also rushed over. Rachel, don't go! Ashley had defended me earlier, so I was willing to listen to her. I'll talk to Sam. You should be honest about how you feel. You'll have to talk to him eventually. It might be better to do it here with others around than alone at home. Ashley's advice makes sense. Sam had a habit of climbing up when he was at a disadvantage, especially during discussions about household rules or chore divisions. It would likely be difficult to resolve the issue if we talk alone at home. I decided to listen to Ashley and return to my in-laws' house for now. Okay, I'll go back and listen for now. Ashley carried my bags, and Lisa walked behind me, looking uncomfortable, perhaps to prevent me from escaping. When we returned, Sam was sitting in a formal position in the living room, being lectured by his aunt and uncle. I had only met them a few times at similar gatherings, so I may not have understood their personalities well until now. It was reassuring to know that they had a proper sense of ethics, unlike their sister Lisa. I feel encouraged, knowing that Ashley wasn't my only ally. Mom, stop it already. Bullying your daughter-in-law is so tacky. Don't show such an embarrassing side of yourself to your granddaughter, Lily. Ashley confronted her mother directly. Lisa seemed to know she was intentionally harassing me, as she didn't retort and remained silent. And what about you, Sam? Rachel is the only one here surrounded by in-laws. She had no one else to rely on. How can you not support your own wife? Ashley had married into a family and was also a daughter-in-law. She was probably the person who could empathize with my feelings the most in this situation. You don't know anything. Sam mumbled something, but it didn't reach Ashley's ear, as she was completely fired up. I've put up so much too. Mom always favored Sam and made me do old housework just because I'm a girl. Ashley's voice was trembling. And remember how you wouldn't let me go to college? Saying girls don't need higher education. You just didn't want your daughter to be more educated than you, did you? Ashley's long-suppressed frustrations were pouring out. You're jealous of Rachel because she went to college, aren't you? That's such a pathetic reason to bully her. Ashley glared at her mother with narrow eyes and a look of disgust. But Ashley, you just ignored it all until a year ago. You were a bystander, practically an accomplice. Lisa tried to involve Ashley as a co-conspirator, stating her twisted logic. Huh. Ashley let out of a deep sigh and then continued. That's because I didn't know what a real family was like until now. My perspective on marriage and family changed after I married to Jake a year ago. Ashley had a previous marriage, and her daughter Lily was from that relationship. Jake, who was a junior to her middle school, started to look out for Ashley after he learned she was a single mother. They started dating, and after 3 years, prioritizing Lily's feelings, they got married a year ago. Jake's parents welcomed both me and Lily with open arms, and they still treat us like family. I finally realized that's what normal is. It made me understand how abnormal my upbringings and my first marriage were. Jake was getting married for the first time, but his parents didn't object and adored Lily as their own grandchild. Jake, of course, felt the same way and always put Lily first. What? Are you saying our family isn't normal? The reason Ashley got divorced from her previous husband was that she didn't fulfill her duties. Lisa snapped back, seemingly offended. One person shouldn't have to do everything. That's not an equal family relationship. Jake and his dad are different. They believe men should be the breadwinners, but they also help with chores when they are sick. It's not about roles. I think the right way for a family is to support each other. Ashley was tearfully making her case. Lisa's distorted worldview must have deeply hurt Ashley since she was a child. Lily gently patted Ashley's back and gave her grandmother a cold look. I finally noticed that Lily had switched the cheap snacks at my place sitting with real food while we were at the bus stop. A 10-year-old was much more considerate and mature than Lisa. Lisa was visibly shaken by her granddaughter's scornful gaze, but her lips showed she was still being stubborn. We're not talking about Ashley right now. We're talking about Sam and Rachel. It may be the two-income household, but if Sam loses his job, Rachel will be the one in trouble. A wife should act like a wife. Lisa was yelling. I calmly responded. Actually, that's not true, Mom. I glanced at Sam. I didn't want to be the one to say it, so I waited for him to reveal the truth. If I had been a helpless, delicate wife, maybe he would have felt the need to protect me. But Rachel's different. She's more capable at work, has a higher position, and is more independent than I am. Sam muttered the word he had probably swallowed earlier when his sister scolded him. I had been discreet about it, not wanting to hurt Sam's pride, but the reality was the opposite. Sam and I were hired in the same year, but I had advanced further in my career. I explained to supplement Sam's confession. We were married within the company. There was no written rule, but there was a tendency to avoid having married couples in the same department, so one of us had to transfer. The higher-ups decided on Sam, but he had the option to change jobs if he was unhappy with the transfer. He chose to stay. If Sam felt uncomfortable in his new workplace and couldn't find fulfillment, I suggested that he consider changing jobs. When we got married, we both wanted children. Considering maternity and childcare leave policies, I determined that it would be more beneficial for our family if I stayed with the company. It's difficult for a woman to find a new job with higher salary and better conditions after leaving a stable position at a large company, even for a short period. To maintain our household income, it made more sense for Sam to change jobs. But Sam was stubborn. Why should I have to change jobs because my wife tells me to? Besides, the only thing Mom can brag about is her son working for a big corporation. I can't just give up that status so easily. Now I understand why he was so reluctant to start job hunting. It was about fulfilling his mother's expectations. I realized that Sam was also bound by the expectations placed on him as the eldest son. I remember that during the drinking party after our initial training, Sam had said he prioritized company size to meet his parents' expectations. He was probably unhappy when I asked him to do chores after we got married because he felt like he was being ordered around at home, too, while feeling insecure at work. It never occurred to me that not only Lisa, but also my husband was jealous of my abilities and position at work. About 6 months ago, Sam seemed happier and more cooperative with chores. I thought he had finally adjusted his new department and found some fulfillment. But his attitude has suddenly changed in the past few weeks, which worried me. I was also afraid of damaging our relationship, so I didn't press him about it. I might have been wrong to suggest changing jobs so easily, but about a year and a half after the transfer, you seem happier at work. Did something happen recently? I regretted not addressing the unease I felt when he avoided discussing the watch purchase. I thought it was lame for a husband to earn less than his wife, so I started investing in stocks. But I failed miserably. I was too ashamed to tell you. So he wasn't trying to be mean by pushing the payment on me. He simply didn't have the money. Oh, how embarrassing. I thought he was my pride and joy, but he's less capable and earns less than his wife. Lisa dramatically lamented. Mom, be quiet. Do you even understand what's going on? Ashley snapped at her, and my surprisingly quiet mother-in-law finally shut up. Sam's uncle and aunt, who had been listening silently, added their scolding to the mix. But it was doubtful whether Lisa would sincerely accept the criticism and reflect on her behavior. She had lived like this for 60 years, so it was probably unrealistic to expect her to change her distorted thinkings or values. Then Ashley's phone rang. Oh, it's Jake. Should I tell him about Sam? She teased Sam before answering the call. What? Please don't. Sam was flustered. Jake was Ashley's junior by 2 years, but he was 2 years older than Sam. During their middle school days, Jake was a bit of delinquent, so Sam couldn't stand up to him, even now. Then you should apologize properly. Ashley said this and walked away to answer the phone. I'm sorry, Rachel. I got carried away because I was feeling down on myself. I thought it would be easier if you gave me a cold shoulder. I was being selfish. Sam apologized deeply. You should talk to me if anything bothering you. I'll tell you my honest feelings too. When I looked him in the eyes, Sam nodded firmly. I could tell he was genuinely remorseful, so I decided to forgive him this time. Looks like you two made up. That's good. Ashley returned after finishing her call. About that earlier conversation, Sam, didn't you want to work in manga? Sam looked surprised. How do you know? Sam looked like a child caught doing something mischievous, his eyes wide. Remember when you were in middle school and secretly reading manga? I found out, but I didn't tell Mom. Ashley had the gentle look of an older sister again. Mom forbade manga, anime, and games, saying they interfere with your studies, but you really love reading manga, and it helped you relieve stress. It was the first time I had seen Sam look so animated. If you have something you want to do, go for it. I'll support you. Honestly, it would be tough financially if you were unemployed forever, but we can manage on my income alone for a few months, maybe even a year. What? Are you serious about quitting your job at a big corporation? Lisa shouted another unnecessary comment. Mom, be quiet. I know I was probably a disappointment to you. Dad, I tried to be a good son after you passed, to make up for it. But I think it's time for me to distance myself from you, Mom. I've always come whenever you called. Lisa was stunned by Sam's declaration of independence. We left her there and started to head home. The expensive catered food had gone completely cold. I apologized to my aunt, uncle, and maid for making them wait for lunch, but they all offered kind words which warmed my heart. I couldn't help but wonder why a monster like Lisa was born into such a kind family. Sam, I understand, but if you change your mind, you can come back, okay? Perhaps fearing further rejection for her son, Lisa, who finally spoke, responded uncharacteristically meekly. If I had been a better ally to you sooner, Rachel, I'm sorry for not realizing it earlier. Ashley apologized for not speaking up against her mother's behavior sooner, even though she knew about the bullying I faced since I was newlywed. I shook my head slightly. No, please don't worry about it. I was so happy and encouraged to have you on my side today. Thank you. I thanked her instead. I was glad that Ashley had found happiness after her remarriage and had gained the courage to stand up to her mother, realizing her distorted thinking and values. Hey, about that watch. My tone-deaf mother-in-law seemed to be implying that I should still live the present. Oh, about that. I can't guarantee my job hunt will go well, so I'm returning it. It hasn't been a week since I bought it. It's unopened, and I have the receipts, so I should be able to get a refund. Huh? Why did she think she would still get the 60th birthday present after everything that happened? I couldn't comprehend her thought process, but it was good that Sam had firmly put his foot down. Later, Sam seriously started job hunting and became a manga editor. He was eventually hired by a small but well-regarded editorial production company specializing in manga. Sam is now happily working with Manga Magazine, which he had always dreamed of. And a few months later, I was blessed with a baby. I hadn't contacted Lisa since that day, and I hesitated to tell her about the pregnancy. My belly was growing, and we found out the baby was a boy. This made me even more reluctant to tell her, as she was a strong believer in male predominance. I was worried she would act like she had never bullied me and tried to get close to us. Let's keep the pregnancy a secret from her until it's impossible to hide. More than anything, I want to avoid causing you stress, and I don't plan on letting her hold the baby. She had this idea that a wife should devote herself to the family, and that woman should naturally do all the housework. I feel like I was being forced to do it, even though we were both working. It was a huge relief when I finally broke free from that mindset before we had kids. After we returned from his parents' house that day, I honestly told Sam everything about the 2 years of abuse I had suffered from his mother. Sam knew I was running errands for his mother, but he naively assumed that in-law relationships were like that. He apparently had no idea that she was saying such horrible things to me behind his back. Thanks to his mother's visible harassment during her 60th birthday celebration, Sam and I were able to have an honest conversation. That was the only silver lining from that horrible day. It's horrifying how much one's upbringing can affect them. That's why I'm hesitant to let our child interact with my mother after they're old enough to understand things. I feel the same way whether our child was a boy or a girl. I just wanted our baby to be healthy. I didn't plan on raising our child with gender stereotypes. If the time came where we had to introduce our child to Lisa, I was planning to tell her upfront that she wouldn't be allowed to see the grandchild if she couldn't follow my parenting style. For now, I wanted to focus on the peaceful pregnancy, hoping for the safe arrival for our baby. With that in mind, I gently stroked my belly.